Hey everybody, so as you can probably see, I'm not in the same place that I was when I did my previous videos. That's because I'm currently down in the East Midlands on a very long bypass road contract. I've been working pretty much 60-hour weeks, Monday to Saturday, 10-hour days for the past month and a half, which has been quite draining, and this is kind of the first opportunity that I've had to actually think of, conceptualize, and make a different video, so I apologize for the length in between. Today I wanted to kind of talk to you about clothing that archaeologists wear, because I think it's a bit of a, not necessarily an issue, but it's something that I know when I showed up on my very first site, I had absolutely no idea like how to properly kind of clothe myself for my job exactly, and what kind of things I would need. And with the experience of working for several years now, I've kind of built up a bit of a wardrobe and places where you can get the best gear and stuff, so I thought I'd share some of that with you today. So this is a shot of essentially a sample of my wardrobe that I wear to work with some variation. Here I have a pair of high-vis trousers, which were actually given to me by my work. I didn't actually pay for them, but they're not too expensive. Because the road scheme that we're currently working on requires us to wear like a full amount of PPE. Everyone's been getting these, and I find them quite useful, usually with standard work PPE, personal protective equipment that they provide for you, especially for women. They don't really tend to fit because we are quite small, and a lot of PPE is designed to fit larger men. But these have been really useful. They've got tons of pockets for lots of little things, and they clean quite easily, fit pretty well. The belt at the back has an elasticized waist, which is quite helpful. So yeah, usually year-round I'll wear a pair of trousers. I don't really tend to wear shorts even when it's really hot out, just because bug-wise, and sometimes if you're walking through vegetation you can get like stinging nettles and stuff like that. It's just never really fun. During the summer I will tend to wear much lighter kind of clothing. I used to use nurse scrubs when I was back in Canada, and I could find them really easily at Mark's Work Warehouse, but I haven't really found any here. I've bought a couple kind of crappy pairs of pants from outdoor stores when they're on sale and stuff, which have worked out alright because they've got quite a bit of stretch, which is what you want. And I try to get them when they're not too expensive because I tend to ruin my clothes. During the winter I also tend to wear these, which are thermal leggings, underneath my regular trousers, just to help keep my legs warm. They're good for stretch, and you know, if something on your other layer rips, means that nobody gets a shot of all of your underwear. I also have these, which are probably my favorite pair of trousers, which are a pair of fleece-lined jeans. I got these at Mark's Work Warehouse quite a few years ago in Canada, and they're like the best trousers for winter work that I've ever had. They are so warm. They're amazing. I highly recommend them. Socks wise, usually I tend to buy a shoe that's about a size bigger than what I normally wear, and I'll wear this kind of a thinner kind of hiking sock, merino wool if I can get it, but they're really expensive, so I don't tend to have a lot of those socks. And then I'll have a much fluffier sock, as you can see here, that goes over top to help with padding and to help the shoe fit really snugly over my feet. As for what's on my torso, like right now, this is actually the outfit that I wore to work today. I have a kind of thermal long sleeve shirt, and then I've got a fleece sweater jacket over top. I also have a like bomber vis vest jacket that's at work, because I leave it there every day, that I wear over top of all of this when it's really chilly. The fleece, I actually have two. I've got this pink one, and I have this purple one right here, which is quite nice. The purple one is Craig Hopper's, and the pink one's Regatta Great Outdoors. And I have a couple other thermal shirts. In the summer I tend to wear short sleeve shirts that are designed for like athletic wear because they absorb sweat really well. I have a couple of those. Again, I tend to buy them on sale. Additionally, These are a really dirty pair of gloves that I have. I've been meaning to wash them for a couple days, but I haven't really gotten around to it. They're Atlas Thermal Fit gloves that, again, I bought at Mark's Work Warehouse in Canada. When they run out, I just get my mom to ship me some over because they're really good quality and they last pretty long, and if you wash them, they don't get too bad. And they're not super, super expensive. I also have a lamb's wool scarf that I got as a Christmas present that I just like to wear around my neck because as a Canadian, I've learned that if you keep the heat in, so wrapping a nice scarf around your neck, it really helps the rest of your body keep warm because you don't have the heat escaping out through your neck. I also have this, which is kind of one of those buff things which you put on your head. I'll demonstrate for you 1 second. Okay, so this is my kind of buff thing that I've made into a little hat headband. I tend to like to wear this under my hard hat or another headband, something to help keep my hair out of my face. Obviously I don't wear it down when I'm at work. I usually put it up in a bun just to keep it out of the way because it's really long and it gets everywhere. Ugh. Kind of the last thing I have to show you, this is my kind of fleecy high-vis jacket. I bought it myself at Sports Direct. And I think it was about £20, which is pretty cheap for this kind of stuff. I usually just wear it to site and then I change into my bomber jacket, but lately, if it's cold enough, I'll wear this underneath the bomber jacket until I get too warm and then I take it off. So yeah, that's just kind of a overall review of what, like, kind of my basic wardrobe and what I wear day to day when I'm at work. It obviously changes, and clearly I wear, like, you know, underwear and a sports bra with it, but I don't really want to broadcast that on the internet. But yeah, the one thing with winter work especially is something that I've learned, I just guess in general from being Canadian and from working in the winter as an archaeologist, is you want to try and get, you don't have to get like one really big furry or like down coat. You want to try and have several layers, and then as you work and you work up a sweat, you can take these layers off, but you don't really want to underdress for work because you can't really put on a layer once you get cold that you don't have with you. So that's why I usually wear a base layer shirt, long sleeve or short sleeve depending. I'll have some kind of sweater over it even in the summer, and then I usually will have a jacket that goes over that, rainproof if I can get it. I would also recommend having your own pair of waterproof trousers, especially because I live in the UK, the land of the perpetual drizzle. The majority of the places that I like to shop at, like I said, back home, Mark's Work Warehouse or like an army surplus store tends to have some pretty good stuff. I found that buying nurse scrub like trouser pants was a godsend because they're, especially in the summer when you don't, if you, like myself, you don't really want to wear shorts because you're afraid of like ticks or, you know, getting stung by vegetation or something like that, then they're nice and they're a light material. They're designed to get dirty and be cleaned, and they're quite stretchy. I had one that had like an elasticized waistband. They got pockets in them. They're absolutely great. I can't recommend them highly enough. And then over here, it's not as easy to find stuff. This is mostly because a lot of like the kind of workwear that you would expect for a construction site is designed for largely a male consumer audience, so you're going to have a really hard time finding stuff that actually fits you properly and doesn't look like you're wearing a bin bag. So you tend to kind of end up with this kind of weird amalgamation of stuff that's given to you by the company because they are obligated to provide you with PPE, and then, you know, things that you've kind of managed to get on sale from like a high-end outdoor store, and then just stuff that you've randomly amalgamated whenever you found it all over the place. I, over here, tend to buy a lot of my stuff from TK Maxx because just because they tend to carry some really decent brands like that Regatta fleece that I have, and it's not super, super expensive. The thing is, I don't like to spend tons of money on my work clothes because I know that they're going to get ruined, they're going to get dirty, they're going to get holes, they're not going to last me years and years and years, so I don't want to spend like 40 quid on something. I've also, like I said, I've found a couple things every once in a while at Cotswolds or Tizo, but they tend to be a bit too expensive for my taste. The only thing that I would kind of really recommend shelling out on is socks, because you just want your feet to be warm, especially in the winter. I have a couple pairs of smart wool socks that are a couple years old and they're starting to wear thin. And I'm going to be asking for some for Christmas. They've been a great socks for me to wear, both in the summer and in the winter. As I was saying before, during the winter when I'm wearing like kind of heavier boots, they are steel toe, which get really cold in the winter time, I will wear kind of a thinner sock and then an over sock over top to kind of help with keeping my feet from being as cold, which still doesn't tend to help because it's a steel toe. Whereas in the summer I'll wear a bit of a lighter sock. I don't have my boots with me because they're on site currently, but I have a pair of like steel toe work boots that are all safety approved that I've bought, which are okay, but the laces on those things like go like crazy. I also have a pair of steel-toed wellies, which are actually my preferred boot to wear because they're completely waterproof and they're just really easy for me to get on and off. Some people don't really like wearing them because they make your feet really sweaty sometimes, or a lot of people have issues with socks essentially slipping off as they wear the boot, but I've never had that issue, so it doesn't make a difference to me. I also have a pair of hiking boots that I bought for walkovers, just because you don't want something that's as heavy as a steel-toed boot when you're doing a lot of walking up and down all the time. I do have a pair of composite toe boots, but the rim of where the sole attaches to the rest of the boot has kind of come away and they're not very waterproof anymore, so I haven't had a chance to get those fixed yet. I also, if you're going to be doing any kind of drawing or lots of writing work and you're going to be outside doing it, I would recommend getting some kind of like small thin thermal gloves, runner gloves, something like that to help keep your fingers warm but still allows you a lot of like dexterity and being able to grip things. The gloves that I showed you, they like are really only good for troweling. I still find myself a lot of the times like I have to take them off in order to really look at something or get a feel of it in my hand. In case you haven't noticed, I like to wear a lot of pink. And that's partially because A, I just like pink, which is allowed, and B, it's because it's quite visible on site, and it's quite easy to distinguish your stuff from everyone else's when they're all wearing high-vis yellow. Fashion is not a thing that comes into play when you're on site. You're all covered in dirt and you're sweating and you're gross. So if you're worried about looking good in front of your coworkers, nobody really cares about that when you're in archaeology. It's not nearly as glamorous as the movies make it look, that's for sure. I hope that this was at least a little bit helpful or interesting to anybody who's kind of curious as to what your work attire should be. Nobody really ever expects you to have any kind of work uniform besides the PPE that's provided, and different sites will have different parameters on what they want you to wear. For example, this is the first time that I've had to wear high-vis trousers on site. They always want us in like the full outfit. Before I've been on sites where all I had to do was wear a hard hat and a vis vest. So it kind of varies. Please like and subscribe if you feel like doing so. I am planning on doing some more stuff. I have a couple videos planned, but since like some of my stuff is here and some of my stuff is home, I have to kind of wait till I go home in December to get some of it in order to kind of make a more complete video. But I'm hoping to do another couple before I leave and go home for Christmas. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.